Hi, I'm Anita Draycott. I'm with Travel Industry Today, and I'm here in beautiful Cayo Largo, Cuba, with Samantha Taylor, the Chief Marketing Officer for Sunwing. And we've been spending a great week here. It's my first time to Cuba, and just bowled over by many things, but especially this location and the amazing, pristine beaches and gorgeous stretch. What is it, 1.5 kilometers?
25 kilometers of
25 kilometers.
pristine white sandy beaches. And Anita, as we were just talking about, no Sargassian, absolutely gorgeous. People travel so far to have this type of beach to enjoy, so close, less than 3 hours from most gateways. It's an incredible opportunity.
It is. I was reading some of the material on Sunwing, and I wanted to get you to expand on what you refer to as the 3 E's that people can enjoy here in Cayo Largo.
Yeah, I mean, first, thank you so much for coming and spending this week with us. It has been such a wonderful time. We are so excited to be opening up Cayo Largo again post-pandemic. We actually reopened the island November 2022. We have several of our properties that are open right now. We like to kind of talk about the island centered around kind of 3 distinct, unique selling features. The first really is to come and enjoy. When we think about the island, we've got 25 kilometers of pristine beaches. You are talking about a beautiful, tiny, almost deserted island off the south coast of Cuba, which we also call Cuba's Sunshine Coast. There is more sunshine that happens on this island than anywhere else in Cuba year-round, which is incredible. When we really kind of talk about the explore element, which is kind of that second pillar of the island, there's so much stuff to explore here, so much natural habitat. The island is very eco-friendly and so much wildlife that is here as well. And you really do feel like you're stepping back to an area of the world that is almost untouched. And it is so, so beautiful. And the best snorkeling, which we experienced the other day.
Snorkeling, and then yesterday we went to the turtle sanctuary.
Oh my gosh.
Learned so much. I mean, of all the, I think, 7 species of turtles in the world, Cayo Largo has 2 of them.
Yes.
And there's a really dedicated, passionate team of people who are caring for those little guys.
I know. And you know, it's so funny. People have been working with Leonardo, who runs the Turtle Sanctuary, for so many years. They come back, they want to support it. It's a not-for-profit. And there's just so much passion there as well. And they really are looking for ways to ensure that the turtle population continues to thrive on the island. There is a real commitment to kind of living with nature and that balance there as well. Some of the best snorkeling you will find in anywhere in the world is here as well, very untouched, and some of the best diving as well. We didn't even get to that part. The diving is absolutely incredible as well. And so when we think about that second pillar around explore, it is not only for somebody who wants to come and kind of engage in a more relaxed experience, but if you want to kind of do all those fun things with nature, they're all at a fingertips. And of course, they're all within 10 minutes because everything on the island is less than 10 minutes away, which we certainly appreciated after a transfer, right? When you get off that plane and you can be at your hotel in 10 minutes is lovely.
Oh, yeah. So we were met by Carlos, and he said, it'll be about 10 minutes.
Everywhere.
To the hotel. Yeah, that's pretty great.
So the last E that we kind of center around is this idea of embracing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, sometimes you look at islands that are so isolated and you look at it to say, what else, why else would people kind of come here and really kind of embrace this lifestyle? And it really is about that unplugging. It really is about that wellness. It is a book lover's paradise. People can really just kind of disconnect from their day-to-day lives and really kind of center and ground themselves on taking that well-needed time away. We have been fortunate enough this week to have a yoga studio, Yoga Athletics, actually join us, and we've been doing wonderful health classes throughout the week. But as we kind of ramp up what other types of offerings happen across the resorts, we really feel that there's a demographic that wants something a little different than the regular all-inclusive, wants something that's a little bit more introspective and spending more kind of time unplugging. And there could not be a better ideal location for that.
No. And the music here is also a very uplifting thing. Practically every time we come into the lobby or visit another one of your properties, there are people dancing and singing. They're really talented.
You make such a good point there. I think when people have visited the island of Cuba or the country of Cuba, the one thing people always say is it's the people. It's the arts. It's how much you feel welcomed here. And I think Cayo Largo is an outstanding example of that. From the staff to everyone we meet here, it really is just an island filled with wonderful, warm people who have been welcoming Canadians for many, many years. And Carlos was telling us that first flight that happened in November, when we had kind of Canadians coming back to the island after 2.5 years of being closed.
It must have been quite emotional.
It was, yeah. There was a lot of emotions there, people who hadn't seen each other for a while, but it's the same staff that were still kind of brought back to the island to work. And so that history and that connection between the Cuban people and the Canadians was very strong and very, very touching to see as well.
So even though during COVID, things were closed down it was
2.5 years. So from March 2020, the island was shut down, and then we had reopened it about 6 months because we were bringing everything up to standard to welcome customers, but it reopened to tourism November 2022.
And a lot of the employees from pre-COVID came back.
Yes. So a lot of the staff actually come in from the Island of Youth. It is about a 4-hour catamaran ride away. A fun fact about the Island of Youth, it actually got its name as all of these young people actually descended onto the island to help rebuild after the 1966 Hurricane Alma.
And it's an interesting cycle that they work here, isn't it? 20 days on and 10 days off.
Yes.
So I think it's great because they get to know the clientele who's here for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and then they get to go home and rest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is, you raise a good point there. On the 20 days and 10 days off, we also have many Canadians that will come here for multiple weeks at a time and multiple visits over the course of the winter. So it is not unusual for people to book trips here for 2 or 3 weeks, and then come in November, come again in January, come again in March, and they really form those incredible relationships with the staff, which I think you would agree have been absolutely outstanding.
I did notice that. I noticed a lot of familiarity.
Yes.
How that these people have been meeting and socializing and having drinks and just enjoying the staff.
First name basis.
First name.
For sure. First name basis. Yeah. And you get that experience when you are kind of all together on this somewhat deserted island, which kind of brings up another point, which we were talking about this morning, the very different experience that you get when you are visiting the beaches here as well, when you compare it to other destinations. I mean, it is pretty incredible. You can't even imagine that experience. But when you see these beaches, it really is beyond your imagination about what is possible so close, such a short flight away. It is incredible.
Speaking of flights.
Yes.
You mentioned something earlier, and I'd like you to tell our listeners and readers about it.
Oh, the different flights offering for next winter?
Offerings that you'll be having for next winter, and also perhaps the excursion possibility to Havana.
So we are always looking. So we'll start with the excursion experience. We're always looking for different type of excursions and kind of offering people different experiences when they're with us in destination. It is actually a very critical part of having a Sunwing vacation. And the more excursions you do and the kind of more fun you have on the island, it actually adds to your overall experience on the island. And that's important to us. So we're always looking for local and authentic and different things to offer.
Right.
Nexus Tours is our preferred partner in all of our destinations. And they offer some amazing excursions on Cayo Largo, including sunset cruises, just really, really wonderful experiences. One thing that they are working very hard to deliver for next winter is a private transfer day trip to Havana. And so they're working very hard to source a plane that would allow customers to book a day trip to Havana, which is only a 20-minute flight away, less than 30 minutes from board to actually being in Havana, which, as you know, is sometimes shorter than to drive from Varadero to Havana. And we just really feel like that would offer such the best of both worlds. You have this beautiful, unique, idyllic island, and all the benefits there, but then also the culture and beauty and history of what the day trip kind of feels like in Havana. And of course, the day trip will be available, but we are always happy to ensure that we work with our travel advisor community to create, unique packages for those customers that may want to spend a couple days in Havana and then the rest of the week in Cayo Largo as well. Again, to get that beach and city feel. We have opened a few hotels since 2022 in Havana, and we're in a unique situation to keep you within kind of the family of Blue Diamond Resorts if you want to kind of customize that best of both worlds vacation dream. So we're very excited about that. In fact, we're almost in a situation to experience that this week, but for next high season, we will be there, and it's something we're very committed to.
That'll be high season effective probably November?
Yes. Yes.
And your number of flights next year, what do you anticipate?
Right now we have 6 flights. So we will have flights from Toronto and Montreal. And then throughout the winter, beginning in December, we will have flights from Ottawa as well as Quebec City. And we are also going to be starting a Halifax flight in January as well. Yes. And then it'll be a second flight actually coming from Montreal as well. There's a long history of a deep relationship with the island and the people of Quebec as well. So as you will probably notice, French is as evenly spoken as Spanish on the island.
I was very impressed with so many of the staff. They speak French and English.
Yes, yes.
In fact, I was almost hoping I could snafu one of these waiters and get them to give me a little Spanish lesson.
Yeah.
But they all speak very, very good English and French.
Yes, yes, they do. And I mean, even when we go around, we see the Quebec flag places. There's a deep, wonderful relationship as well.
Yeah, yeah. Could you go a little into a bit more detail about the wellness experiences that you're bringing here?
I think one of the elements of Cayo Largo and that has led to its success post-pandemic has been that long history of people who have been connected to the island before. But when we look to build kind of that future clientele and where is there a match with future customers, we often will think about what is it that makes the island unique. And in today's world, we have a lot of conversations around digital detox and wellness and just kind of taking some time to be more present. It's something that is obviously connected to mental health and it is a very big reason why people go on vacation. If you don't have your beach reads list, why are you even going, right? So many are doing that as well. And we really feel for all of that and all of those reasons, the wellness component, the mental health component, the unplugged component is such a huge pillar that we can be able to offer here. And so as we are here this week, and we've had multiple kind of wellness classes happening every morning, from yoga to bar classes to Pilates to meditation, it will be a strategic priority for us going forward to have those partnerships, not only with local Canadian different companies on that, yes, but also leveraging the local talent here. The Cuban people are incredibly talented, and we have wonderful teachers that are on premise here to run yoga, to run meditation, and just to kind of take that little part of your day to focus on yourself. And it's a beautiful addition as well. And we were doing yoga classes in the gazebo. We were doing them in the lobby. We have oceanfront views where we can kind of be doing meditation classes as well. It is the perfect backdrop to that. And so that is a priority that we want to ensure that we tie into the brand as we open up the island for a brand new future clientele relation of customers as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. It'll bring in a whole new group of people who will probably keep coming.
They're
older clients.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to us to even drive awareness of the brand for what does this mean, and leveraging the strengths that it has. And we've been part of a group that has had people of all different ages that have been included in that. They've been all going to the class. The accessibility is very important to us. So people don't have to worry. They don't have to be a yoga instructor or anything. We're all dealing with injuries, etc. So just ensuring that every class is very accessible.
Well, I noticed that your instructors were very good about offering alternatives to people so that as you say, from the 30-year-olds to the 70-year-olds,
Right.
everyone can
Everyone's
participate.
got a little ache, so we just want to make sure that you have a wonderful experience.
Exactly. And another thing that, this being my first trip to Cuba, another thing that surprised and really I enjoyed was the evening shows. Is that a tradition here?
Yeah, it is. And when you asked before about the quality of kind of creativity and the artists that are on the island, the show is such a primary example of that. I mean, we see them practicing during the day. They take it very serious. The artists that are available here, it's really wonderful, and
They're very talented.
they're very talented, and they put a lot of heart into those performances. It's wonderful to see.
Yeah, it's great to watch them in the afternoons practicing.
Yes, yes.
What would you say, having survived COVID and all of its repercussions, what are some of your main challenges?
With the island being closed for the few years, our Blue Diamond partners worked so hard to bring this up to standard to be able to welcome Canadians back. That isn't an easy feat, you know. I mean, we were speaking about the people before, but the work ethic and how dedicated the local teams are, it was not a small undertaking. It was a huge undertaking to be able to get the resorts that are open today up to this level of service, which is really wonderful. It is still a process. You know, as we kind of shift people into the low season, we'll still be renovating some rooms while having people in other areas of the hotel to make sure that when we are at full occupancy for next winter, that everyone is experiencing a wonderful product. But it's not a turnkey situation. So sometimes everything is not perfect, but we're on this kind of journey as well. That's probably the biggest thing in terms of opening up the island post-pandemic. And then just having people have a comfort level as well who haven't been here. What we saw post-pandemic is people went back quickly to places that they had familiarity with, that they knew exactly what they were going to get.
Right.
But now people are starting to branch out. They're feeling more comfortable. They're a little bit more adventurous.
Well, the pent-up travel has opened up a whole lot of new gates.
Right, exactly. So we really feel like it's a perfect time to be introducing this island into the assortment. Which has a very different experience than anywhere else in Cuba and anywhere else in the Caribbean. It is a unique product that has many, many different angles on it. So I think between awareness and just ensuring that our product is what customers come to expect from us is the heaviest lift to ensure that.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to the rest of the week.
It's going to be a great time.
Yes. And thank you for having us.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you so much. We're so happy you could join us.